So King Charles III sparks a storm because of what he said about Filipinos that will honestly bring tears to your eyes. Look, a lot of you guys linked this over, and honestly, I'm excited to see this because there's a lot of different things that Filipinos have done, whether it be consistency in humanity and consistency in delicious food and consistency in that red horse to sing. We know. I'm excited to see this though. You know, apparently what he said is really going to bring tears to your eyes. So a lot of y'all told me I might cry. Hey, we will see. Let's join. Let's go see this together. Let's go.
King Charles III just did the unthinkable. A single sentence. Yet it changed how the entire world sees Filipinos.
Oh dear.
What happened? And why did this statement melt millions of hearts? You won't believe your ears when you hear these words from a king. This wasn't just a diplomatic speech. It was a deeply emotional truth that left many in tears. From a war over 200 years ago to silent contributions today, there's a special connection between the British royal family and Filipinos that few people know about. And now, King Charles III has boldly acknowledged it. But the question is, what did he say? And why does it carry such profound meaning? For decades, Filipinos have quietly contributed to British society, yet they've rarely received recognition.
I did not know about this. Hold on now.
And now, King Charles III has done something no monarch before him has ever dared to do. But the real question is, why did he choose to say this now? And what does his statement mean for millions of Filipinos across the world? Imagine this. You work every day, caring for the elderly, treating patients, helping the vulnerable.
Being the best at it.
Yet no one acknowledges your sacrifices. Then, one day,
I acknowledge
the
it.
king of a global superpower stands up and says, "We couldn't do this without you." And this isn't just a generic compliment. It's a declaration from a king, directed at the hundreds of thousands of Filipinos working in the UK. A heartfelt expression of gratitude that no one saw coming.
So many Filipinos are known for working abroad, by the way, and you guys have mentioned it too, but I think I've actually seen a video on it, and some of you have linked a video for me to watch on it as them being like one of the highest in overseas, like not even just students, but workers in terms of nurses and caretakers and things like that. And the beautiful thing about it is, as you know, hard and how sad it may be to leave the family in the Philippines and go do this outside of the Philippines in another country, is the fact that they enjoy it mid doing it. So it's not like, you know, they show you and they got attitude and they being rude. They're like, you know what, I'm gonna find the good in this, which is something that they're very good at. And finding the good in that means really seeing the human in front of them, regardless of their situation. They're going to go ahead and see the human in front of them as a caretaker and really take care of them. Not just half, like, whatever, man, you got it. Like, they're going to take care of you because it matters what happens to you, because they see you as a human being. And listen, I can go on and on, but really, it's incredible, man.
Prestigious event in front of world leaders. King Charles III did something completely unexpected. He paused, looked directly at the Filipino guests, and said, "The resilience, kindness, and dedication of Filipinos are something the world should learn from. You don't just work with your hands, you work with your heart." The entire room fell silent. A deeply emotional moment no one will ever forget. King Charles III, the well-deserved recognition for Filipinos. King Charles III's speech was more than just a simple thank you. It was an official acknowledgement from the highest ranks of British society for a community that has silently contributed so much yet has rarely been celebrated. For millions of Filipinos worldwide, this was not just a proud moment, it was a historic milestone. A validation that their sacrifices have been seen and appreciated. The UK prides itself on having an advanced healthcare system, but few people realize that behind these achievements lies the irreplaceable contribution of hundreds of thousands of Filipino healthcare workers. Not only in hospitals, but also in nursing homes, special care centers, and even within royal households, Filipinos have been an integral part of British healthcare. According to statistics, Filipinos make up a significant portion of the nursing and healthcare workforce in the UK.
They're the
They
greatest.
don't just perform their professional duties, they
Yeah.
bring with them a rare spirit of service.
I literally was saying
a
this.
dedication that stems from deep compassion and love for humanity. This makes them indispensable to
Yeah.
the British healthcare system. What sets Filipinos apart is not just their expertise, but the way they approach their work with kindness and empathy. Over the years, countless patients and families in the UK have shared heartwarming stories about the dedication of Filipino nurses and caregivers. Some elderly residents in British nursing homes have even said that having a Filipino nurse by their side felt like being cared for by their own grandchildren. This is no coincidence. It comes from the
beautiful.
deeply rooted family values of Filipinos, where caring for parents and grandparents is a sacred tradition. They don't just see caregiving as a responsibility. They see it as something they must do with all their heart. More than 86% of the Filipino population is Catholic, and this religious faith plays a crucial role in shaping their view of work and life. In Catholicism, helping others, especially the vulnerable, is not just a moral duty, it is a sacred journey of practicing charity and love. For many Filipino healthcare workers, their jobs are not merely careers, they see them as a calling, a way to express compassion, love, and humility. Following the teachings of Christ, there are many stories of Filipino nurses working overtime, treating patients as their own family,
Yeah, dude.
and even praying with them when they feel lonely or hopeless. These small yet powerful acts make a huge difference, providing not just physical care, but also emotional and spiritual comfort to patients and the elderly in the UK. Working far from home is never easy. Hundreds of thousands of Filipinos have left their families, sacrificing time with loved ones to provide a better life for their children while contributing to the development of the countries they serve.
You know, it's incredible because it's another thing on top of the consistency that I've mentioned, but there is a quote that I've lived by forever, and I feel like Filipinos are the prime example for it. And it goes like, you know, I may not be able to change the world, but I may be able to change the world for that person. Oh my goodness. That is what Filipinos are doing here. Because even if they can't, one, you know, Filipino caretaker cannot change every person, cannot save every person as kind as they may be. The reality is they're changing that world for that person. If they can't change the world, they'll change the world for that person. And it's incredible, bro. Incredible.
They don't just battle homesickness. They face cultural differences,
Yeah.
language barriers, and the challenges of working in demanding environments. During the COVID-19 pandemic, thousands of Filipino nurses risked their lives, some even making the ultimate sacrifice to save others. Their dedication and selflessness were not just acts of professional duty, but noble demonstrations of resilience and compassion. When King Charles III took the time to honor Filipinos, it was not just significant for the Filipino community, it was a powerful message to the world. Migrant workers are not just part of the workforce. They are human beings whose contributions deserve recognition and respect. The king's speech was more than a compliment. It was an affirmation that Filipinos don't just excel in their work. They help build a more compassionate society. For many Filipinos working far from home, these words were not just a source of pride, but a profound motivation to continue their work with passion and purpose. In a world full of uncertainty, royal recognition may not change everything, but it can create a ripple effect.
Yeah.
King Charles III's speech was not just a touching moment, it was a turning point in recognizing the value of Filipinos on the global stage. And perhaps in the end, the most important thing is not the titles or acknowledgments, but the fact that these people who have silently worked, sacrificed, and dedicated themselves are finally seen,
Yeah.
appreciated, and honored for what they truly deserve. Filipinos, the unsung heroes serving the royal family and saving lives during the pandemic. When people think of the British royal family, they often picture grand palaces, lavish ceremonies, and centuries-old traditions. But behind the glamour, there is an untold truth. The very people who have cared for members of the royal family in their final years were Filipino healthcare workers. Filipinos' Queen Elizabeth I's trusted caregivers. Queen Elizabeth II was a symbol of resilience and dedication to the United Kingdom for over 70 years. But in her final years, she too needed special care, and the ones by her side every day were none other than the nurses, caregivers, and healthcare workers from the Philippines.
Ah, man.
Why Filipinos? For decades, Filipinos have been known for their dedication, compassion, and kindness in the healthcare industry. They don't just bring expertise, they bring a unique spirit of service, a combination of strong professional skills and a warm heart. Their Catholic faith also shapes their view of elder care,
insane for the
not
Queen.
just as a job, but as a sacred duty. It is no coincidence that the British royal family entrusted them with the care of the Queen. According to royal insiders, in her final days, as her health declined, it was the Filipino nurses who stayed by her side, ensuring she received not only the best physical care, but also emotional support. Their stories of dedication go far beyond that. There were times when they sacrificed sleep, working long hours just to ensure the Queen was as comfortable as possible. And while they never made headlines, they became an essential part of the final years of one of the most significant figures in British history. Frontline warriors in the pandemic. When the world faced the greatest crisis of the 21st century, the COVID-19 pandemic, Filipinos once again stood at the front lines. Unforgettable numbers. Tens of thousands of Filipino healthcare workers in the UK worked tirelessly to save lives, despite the risks to their own.
That's something you got to
Many
give a
were
big up
forced
for.
to live apart from their families for months, isolating themselves in hospitals
Yeah,
to
'cause you couldn't
prevent the
travel
spread
either.
of infection.
Yeah.
Some Filipino nurses even lost their lives to COVID-19 while on duty,
No.
sacrificing everything to protect others. Heartbreaking but inspiring stories. A Filipino nurse in London worked 18-hour shifts daily, only getting a few hours of sleep on a chair between shifts. Another, despite being infected, refused to take time off because they didn't want their colleagues to be overwhelmed.
Oh, man.
There is no denying that without the contributions of the Filipino community, the UK's healthcare system might have collapsed at the height of the pandemic.
Yeah.
They weren't just medical workers, they were warriors, fighting an invisible enemy with compassion, knowledge, and unwavering spirit. King Charles III, a well-deserved recognition. Against this backdrop, King Charles III spoke up, and it was no coincidence. He didn't just express gratitude, he acknowledged an important truth. Filipinos don't just work, they sacrifice. They dedicate themselves, and they deserve to be respected. What did his speech mean? Recognition from the highest level. This was the first time a British monarch publicly honored the contributions of the Filipino community,
which is
in
incredible.
such an emotional way. A sincere tribute, not
He
just
witnessed it
diplomatic
firsthand.
His words weren't just formalities. They were a heartfelt acknowledgement of the people who have quietly served for years. A shift in how the world views migrant workers. Filipinos are not just employees, they are the backbone of society, bringing hope and life to millions. And this is the most important part. For many Filipinos working overseas, these words carried a deeply personal meaning. They were no longer just faceless healthcare workers. Hidden in the background, they were seen, heard, and valued. A well-deserved recognition for sacrifices no one sees. Filipinos don't do their jobs for fame. They don't expect to be featured in the news or receive medals. They work because they believe in their mission, a mission rooted in love and faith. But when a king stands up and tells the world, "We couldn't do this without you," that carries immense significance.
Yeah, bro.
It's not just a compliment, it's a recognition from one of the most powerful figures in the world that these silent heroes are making a difference. This wasn't just a speech, it was a message. A message that kindness, dedication, and love matter more than anything else. And today, the world has finally seen that.
I think this is one of the most deserving things, and I feel like the reason he said this, not only is it because of everything else in this video was saying, right, like recognizing it because of the compassion that they have, but because he witnessed it firsthand. He witnessed it with the queen, and he saw it. He saw the compassion, and he probably was very, very touched by that and had to speak on it, which he did in a beautiful way. What an incredible thing, man. And honestly, I didn't even know some of this. This is just so beautiful. I didn't even know that there were caretakers from the Philippines taking care of the queen. I didn't even know this, man. But I knew obviously she most likely had caretakers, but I didn't know they were from the Philippines. And I mean, I should have known. Knowing that they are some of the best, I didn't know that they were, you know, knowingly knowing that the Philippines was, you know, one of the best caretakers. You know, the UK, I didn't know they knew that. And clearly they did. And honestly, it is one of the most beautiful things I have honestly ever seen and heard, man. What an incredible, incredible thing, man. Thank you guys for this, and thank you for everything, and thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Hey, if you liked it, leave a like. If you loved it, subscribe. If you want more, let me know down in the comments below. And yeah, till next time, guys. Peace.
A river runs through golden sands. Dreams are woven in fragile hands.